So let's have a look at that paddle up again. One thing that I see a lot of people do when they're paddling up is they look behind. And while it's not wrong, I find it's not always the best practice, because if there was a really nice big bump here, let's just say there's a big bump here, it's about to break, it looks like the perfect one, it's nice and steep. What generally happens is this one, think about the energy, it's doing this. And then what happens a lot of times, it goes down and disappears into like a hole. By the time this perfect bump gets to you, it's flat. So it's kind of more like this, maybe like a little bit of a slope and maybe a little bit of a trough. It's too stretched out. It might be like this. And they're harder to get than these sort of really steep ones. So if you can think about, forget about what's behind you directly, but think more, what's to the side of me? So if I'm on my right, if I'm paddling this way, so you're a goofy footer, I'd be looking across like this and then across like this. So this is my zone that I'm looking for the wave. And as a set of bumps comes, I'll take note of that. Okay, I see a set coming. I'm going to then focus my eyes on the front of my board, looking at the front of my board, and I'm waiting to see, I'm going to draw up here. So if this is my board here, and then what I'm waiting to see is a bump that is nice and steep, and I want it to peel away from like I want basically a big drop, a big nice steep drop. And so the steeper those bumps are, the better. And a lot of the time, the big bump that runs past you that you can't quite get onto, you get like a really nose high feeling. And when that nose is high, that's a good indication that you're then going to get a really good nose low bump. So as I feel that nose high movement, I'm going to take 1 or 2 strokes, and then I'm going to sort of ease as my board sort of becomes flat before when I'm in the bottom of the trough. I'm going to start paddling a bit harder. And then when my board's this nose down feeling, I'm going to start to paddle and pump really hard. And as I pump, instead of the advantage of pumping when there's a nice big steep downhill, I only have to pump to get my board flat. I don't have to pump to lift my nose up. So all I have to do is one little pump from downhill up to flat. And then from downhill to flat, I'm then gliding. And basically I'm up and going before I know it, because of the timing of the bump so important. So while looking behind you, I think it's good for spotting maybe a set that's coming. When you actually start paddling for the wave, don't be looking behind you. And I guess I'm going to rub all this out. Let's have a look at what he does once. So he's sort of spotted it. He's still looking across, but now he's looking forwards. And so we can see here he's on that, exactly what I was talking about. He's got that nose high. He started to paddle while his nose is high. Not full sprint mode yet. He's only just for his first few strokes. And now his board is flat. He's going to start to increase the cadence. And now he's got that little bit of space underneath his board. So just here, that's when he starts to pump as well as paddle. And basically it's not a super steep one, but you can see here, he's got space and his board is basically doing this. So he's got all of this area to pump down into. Notice his eyes are this way now. He's not looking back. As we continue, we can see paddling, pumping, and he's basically staying on that downhill for a long enough time to get up and going. Once he's up and going, he's got the height, he's got the speed. Join the Coach Casey Club to get feedback from your videos every Tuesday.